All right, cool. So lesson 6.3 is about trigonometry and using it to find a missing side when you are unable to use the Pythagorean theorem. So if you recall, the times that we're able to use the Pythagorean theorem, there's two parts to it. So we need a right triangle, which is like this. But we also need two sides. So if you have a right triangle and two sides, just use the Pythagorean theorem, which says a squared plus b squared equals c squared, okay? Trig is used when we don't have both of those things, meaning specifically we do not have two sides, okay? So I've set up a sequence of steps that we can just follow, and it'll take you through every time. If you follow these steps, it's really pretty straightforward. It's the same thing every time with only a slight change. So if for those of you that are just watching this video for the first time, you're going to need a graphing calculator. So what you can do is in the Google search engine, you can see up here, it says Desmos graphing calculator. If you open up Desmos graphing calculator and then click this wrench, you want to change this to degrees. So it'll go back and forth. You want to change degrees to green. And if you leave the website, it's going to make you do this every single time. So you always want to double check, make sure it is in degrees. If it's in radians, everything will be wrong. Everything. Okay. So let's do a quick check. Once you've got it, let's do a check to see how this works. So there's a little button down here with a keyboard. If you click this and come over here to functions, you can see sine, cosine, tangent, which we've been using. I'm just going to pick a random one, like cosine, and I'm going to choose a random angle measure. So I'm going to choose 71 degrees. If you type in cosine, so click functions, cosine 71, please make sure you have the same number that came out right here. If you have something different, can you please put it in the chat, or go change this to degrees in green. So everybody, did you get 0.325, blah, 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 whatever? Did you get this same decimal? Okay, awesome. All right, so now let's practice with this. Hybo, you did not. Did you type in cosine 71? Can you speak, Hybo? Hybo, did you type in cosine 71? Okay. Let me ask this question. When you click this wrench here in the corner, is the word degrees green? If it's not green, click it so that it becomes green. Okay. And then try again. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. There's 5 steps you can see here on the side. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you each step what it looks like. Okay. With these, we're going to solve the triangle, which means find all the missing parts. So we're going to go through these steps first. The first step says circle the angle given. What that means is, do you see how we were given this angle of 43 degrees? That means we're going to circle B because that's the angle we were given. So we're going to circle this. Is everybody okay with step number 1?
Yeah.
Great. So then the next thing we're going to do, we've done this before. So these 2 first steps are in black because we've done them before. Okay. So the second step is to label op, hype, and adjacent. So which side is going to be the op? Just one way to name this. So this side, for example, is called CB. It's this one, or BC, whatever. I'll be consistent. Sorry. This is BC. This side is AC because you connect A to C. So which side is the opposite?
AC.
Yep. So we're going to call this the opposite. What's 14?
The adjacent.
The adjacent? Oh, wait, sorry. I lied.
Oh.
This one's the hypotenuse because it's across from the 90-degree angle.
Oh, yeah. Oops.
That's all right. And then this one's the adjacent. Okay. So this is where the new stuff comes in. So that was step 2. Oops. Sorry. Step 2 was to label them. Step 3 now is to choose the ratio. So here's what we got to pick first. It doesn't matter what we do, but do you want to find BC first or AC? I do not care. Do you want to find? You say AC?
Doesn't matter.
Oh, I just couldn't hear you. I'm sorry, dude.
BC.
BC. Okay. So the way I organize my work is I just write BC, then I draw a line so that I know all the work below is to find BC. When you guys do your quiz, you're going to want to have paper. You're going to, like, I can't do it without paper. You guys won't be able to do it without paper. It's just a lot of work. Okay. Not a lot of work, but you need to write it out. So now it says choose the ratio with have want. So here's what this means. Which side do we have? Like, which side do we know? What's the only one that's got a number? All right, I'll tell you all the answers for this first one. We only have the hypotenuse, which is 14, okay? Javaris said, let's find BC. That's this one. So we don't know that one. It's just the adjacent side, which we're going to call BC. That's why this is here, okay? So I just am going to stop really quick. Do you understand what the have want is or not? Okay, I'm going to take your silence as yes. I don't know how to help if you don't ask. I'm sorry. So hypotenuse is the only one that we have a number for. So that's why we call that our have. And then Javar said, hey, let's find BC. And so I'm like, all right, well, what we want is BC. So now what we're going to do is, this is the hard part for students. You have to look at the first 2 letters of those. Here we have H and A. Which of these 3 uses H and A?
C.
Yeah, good. C. So we're going to write out the ratio, which is step 4. So we're going to go cosine, and then it says angle. So the angle is 43. It's the angle that we circled in the very beginning. And then it's going to equal adjacent on top divided by hypotenuse on the bottom. Okay, I'm going to say that again. So Javar said, hey, we're going to choose cosine because we have A and H right here. And we have A and H right here. So then we write cosine of the angle we circled equals adjacent divided by hypotenuse. It always goes in that order. Okay, sounds good, Lance. Thank you. Once you're here, then we do what's called cross multiply and divide. We did this before, and that's why we did it first. 1 times BC is BC equals 14 times cosine 43. So in your graphing calculator, this is why you guys needed this up, you're going to type in 14 times cosine 43. And you're going to get 10.238 blah, blah, blah. Now, on the quiz, it asks you to round to 1 decimal spot. So what you would put in for your answer is 10.2. So we now have 10.2. All right, I'm going to go through this again and we're going to find AC. Okay, we've done a lot of the hard stuff already. This time we're just going to go have want, and a little bit of that will change. So the side we have is still the hypotenuse, 14, same thing. But this time, if we want AC, that's the op. So the side we have is 14, that's the hypotenuse. The side we want to find is AC, that's the opposite. So the next question is to choose the ratio. So now we need to choose the ratio based on what we have and want. So which one of these also uses H and O?
S.
Got it. So we're going to go, this time we're going to go sine of 43. It's always the angle equals side, side. So with this one, O goes on top and H goes on bottom. So then we cross multiply. AC equals 14 times sine 43. And we type that in. 14 times sine 43. We get 9.547. So since it's 9.54, this is going to be 9.5. Okay. I saved the easy part for the end, which is finding angle A. Do you guys know how we would find angle A? I'll show you since it's our first one. We would do 180 minus 90 because this is 90. That's 90. Minus 43 because this is 43. And we get 47. So this would be 47 degrees. If you want to take a picture, you can. Otherwise, of course, the video is going to be uploaded. Okay, I'm going to flip the page. We'll do another one, okay? All right. So first, circle the angle given. What angle am I going to circle, you guys?
A.
Got it. And then we have to label op hype adjacent. What's this one going to be labeled?
Which one?
This one.
Adjacent.
This one is actually the op because it's straight across. It doesn't touch A that we circled. So this will be op. This was the part I really struggled with. And then this one points at the hypotenuse. So then this one would be the adjacent. Sidebar, this is AC because AC. And this one is AB because AB. So we're done with steps 1 and 2. let's just find AC first because it's listed first right here. So I'm going to go like this. Then we have to choose the ratio using what we have and what we want. So what we have, which side do we have, you guys? Which number do we have?
15.
15, good. Which is the op? And then if we're finding AC, that is this one, which is the adjacent. Okay. So the next question, and this is really the most important part, is which of our three trig ratios uses A and O, or O and A?
T.
T. So we're going to go tangent of the angle we circled, equals O on top, so 15, divided by A on bottom, AC, A. So now we are down here at step 5. We're doing step 5. This is kind of crappy when the letter's on the bottom because we have one extra step. So we cross multiply. 1 times 15 is 15. And then here we have AC times the tangent of 35. But we need this alone. Tangent of 35 is just some number. So if we want to get it, if we want to get it alone, we just divide by that. So we're going to divide by tangent 35. So in your calculator, you're going to type in 15 divided by tangent 35. That's going to equal AC. So we get 21.42. That means it's 21.4. All right. So then let's do a B. Okay, same thing, have, want. Our have is going to stay the same. The side we have is the opposite, which is 15. The side that we want this time is AB, which is the hypotenuse. So now we are at the choose the ratio part. We had to figure out which one we want to use. So which of our three ratios uses O and H? So O and H.
OH, S.
Good. So OH is S for sine. So we're going to go sine of the angle we circled in the very beginning, right here, equals opposite, so 15, over hypotenuse, so AB. And then again, over 1 and cross multiply, 15 AB times sine 35. And then the last step is to divide by sine 35. This is kind of sucky when you have to do the divide piece, but so if you do in your calculator 15 divided by sine 35, that's going to be your AB value. So 15 divided by sine 35 is 26.15. So since that's a 5, this becomes 26.2. 26.2. And then we have to find angle B. So we'll go 100 minus 90 is 90, minus 35, 60 is 55 degrees. All right. So I'm going to try this next part, this next one. I'm going to have you guys do step by step with me. This is the last one, and then you guys are going to do your assignment. Your assignment's going to be just basically you find one of these. That's all your quiz is going to be. You have different examples where you're just finding one side. Okay, so don't stress out too much. So I want you to do these at least in your head. Actually, how about this? Can you grab a piece of paper, you guys? So get a piece of paper real quick and a pencil. Piece of paper and a pencil really quick right now. Paper, pencil. When you have it, I want you to draw this. When you have paper and pencil, draw this. And when you're done drawing it, can you type in the chat and let me know? Thanks, Javaris. Thanks, Mubarak. Thanks, Lance. I'll give you guys one more minute just to finish drawing this. Okay, so on your picture, I want you guys to do this as we go and just check if you're right. If you're not, just fix it. I won't know, but you'll know if you understand or not. So if there's a certain step that you keep messing up, then let me know and we can talk about it. So first thing I want you to do is step number 1. Can you please circle the angle given? So step number 1, do that. Circle the angle given. That's what you should have done. Next, I want you to do step 2, which is to label the op, hype, and adjacent. So right now I want you guys to label the op, hype, and adjacent. That stands for opposite, hypotenuse, and adjacent. Okay, this one should be op, this should be hype, and this is adjacent. This one's op because it's not touching the 25-degree angle. It's not one of the two sides that touches. This is hypotenuse because it's across from the 90-degree angle. And then the last one's what's left, the adjacent. If you didn't have those, just fix them. So next we need to choose the ratio, but before we do that, we need to pick what side we want to find. This is AB because we connect AB, like of these two choices, it's AB. And then this one is BC because we connect B and C. I'm just gonna say, let's go ahead and find BC first, okay? So we're going to put out have, want, like we have in the steps there. Have, want. I want you guys to put in those blanks, fill in those blanks. Fill in what you have and what you want. Okay, the side that we have is the op, which is 13. That's the only side measurement we have. The side that we want is BC, which we have called adjacent. So I'm going to say adjacent is BC. Next, I want you to pick which ratio we use. Pick which ratio. Just pick sine, cosine, or tangent. You don't need to write anything yet.
Tan.
Yes. So this one's going to be tangent because we have O and A. So we're going to go, the next step, here's what I want you guys to do. So since we know we're using tangent, I want you guys to fill in the next 3 parts. It says write out the ratio, angle, side, side. So write out that little nugget that we did, just like on the last couple problems. Okay, so it's going to be tangent of the angle that we circled equals side over side. Since we use tangent, we put the O on top. So O is opposite and the A adjacent on bottom, BC. And then we need to solve. So I'm going to walk you guys through this. So we cross multiply, and we get 13. And then we cross multiply here, and we get BC times tangent 25. Who can tell me what we do next?
You put it into the calculator.
Yes, but there's one step before that. We have to get this thing by itself. So before we can type it in, we got to divide by tangent 25. So in your calculator, you're going to type in 13 divided by tangent 25 is going to equal BC. So let's do that. Whoop, no. 13 divided by tangent 25 is 27.87. So since it's 87, it becomes 27.9. So BC is 27.9. All right, we got to do it one more time for AB. I know it feels like doing the most, but we just need to make sure we're comfortable with it, okay? Because this is all you're going to do for your quiz, just a bunch of examples like this. So if we delete this stuff. Here's the nice part. You have already circled the angle given. You have already labeled the op hypoadjacent. Now we just need to say, okay, cool. Well, now we're solving for AB. So what we have and want may change a little bit. So the have piece is going to stay the same. We still just have the opposite, which is 13. But this time, what do we want, you guys? What is it that we want? You muted yourself. Did you mean to?
We want AB.
Yes, we want AB, which is labeled hypotenuse. So if that is what we're looking for, which ratio do we use?
Nah.
Did you just go, nah?
The S.
Yeah. So we're going to go sine, because it's O and H also, just like this is O and H. So sine 25 equals O on top divided by H on bottom And then we're going to cross multiply. So what you guys will notice is there's a pattern. If this is on the bottom, it always ends up being a division situation. Like if we cross multiply these, we get 13 equals AB times sine 25. And then we have to divide by sine 25. If this is on the bottom, it's always going to end like this ugly stuff. So then we type it in the calculator. I'm going to be lazy. 30.76, so that's going to be 30.8. If you guys are getting different numbers, that means you must not have put it in degree mode. So just make sure you do that. And then last, we got to find angle A. Tell me how to do that, you guys. How do I find angle A?
You do 180 minus 90 minus 25.
You got it. 70, 65. Perfect. All right, I'm going to stop recording really quickly. Just give me 1 second.